What is up, everyone? So I'm finally back making monotype content. I will admit I definitely did burn out a little from playing so much monotypes and trying to ladder everything into top 500. But with that said, I wanted today play my favorite type I played out of all 18 types, and one I just had so much fun playing that I kept wanting to ladder, and because of that I hit the highest peak with it, and that is Mono Electric. So this type has some crazy fun mons this generation. It has a nice balance, I think, of aggressive but also tactical, if that makes sense. So you have to be able to swap around and read your opponent, but when you do, you can get some very aggressive sweeps, which is very fun. So with that out of the way, let's jump right into the team. So first off, we have my absolute favourite new Pokemon to use, and that is Iron Hands. I think Iron Hands is crazy fun to use. It's just so insanely bulky and hits so hard. Its stats are insane with base 154 HP. It's super bulky and has respectable defense. Its special defense isn't great, but that doesn't matter too much when you're rocking over 500 HP. Attack stat wise as well, it's crazy powerful with base 140, hitting a very respectable 416, but it gets stronger from there. Its ability Quark Drive increases its attack by 1.3 times when in electric terrain, which of course it will have thanks to Coco, and on top of that it's boosted further by Punching Gloves, which increases attack by 1.1. So this thing hits crazy levels of attack very fast, and it's also respectably bulky to go alongside with it. Moveset wise, we have Drain Punch, which is excellent for longevity. This pairs as well with Punching Glove. I forgot to mention as well, Punching Glove also makes moves not make contact if they are punch based moves, which means I don't have to worry about Flame Body, I don't have to worry about Rocky Helmet or all that kind of stuff, which is like super amazing. So Drain Punch is like really good for longevity, as well as being boosted by several things, and it is also stab. I have Ice Punch, which is good to catch off ground types or dragon types, especially things like Garchomp or Dragonite, which could otherwise pretty much wall my Iron Hands. Ice Punch makes quick work of them. Thunder Punch isn't that strong, it's only base 75, but then again it's super stacked, it's stab, Quark Drive boosted, Punching Glove and Electric Terrain boosted, so its number just multiplies so fast and so high. As well as that, of course, we also have Swords Dance. Now, some people say they like Belly Drum more. I personally don't. I think it sacrifices too much HP from Iron Hands to Belly Drum, and I think after a Swords Dance, you're pretty much going to get every meaningful KO anyway. I would run Bulk Up if it was an option. Unfortunately, it's not, so Swords Dance is my fallback. Either way, this mon is so fun, so bulky, and just simply does not die. It's the perfect partner to Tapu Koko, which is going to be a speedy support Tapu Koko with max speed, jolly nature, and max HP to give it a respectable level of bulk. We're going to be, of course, running Electric Surge, which is super good for the team, mostly Iron Hands, and Light Clay pairs nicely with my Reflect and Light Screen. So this makes this thing even bulkier. It also gives some respectable bulk to things like Circuitry and Rotom Wash, which really appreciate it because these two things are going to be pretty heavy hitters. We have Taunt to shut down opposing screen attempts or even entry hazards, anything like that. Taunt can shut down nicely. And finally, U-turn to get up our screens on our Surge and just U-turn out into a bigger threat. Next up we have Mega Manectric. It's going to be a pretty standard max speed timid with max special attack. Nothing too special here. I like Mega Manectric because it's relatively speedy, pretty good offensively, gets access to Intimidate when it Mega Evolves, which is pretty nice, and most importantly has a somewhat varied move pool. Now, one thing that's a problem with a lot of electric types are they suffer from very much stab syndrome, so they get a lot of electric coverage, not a huge amount of coverage outside of that. Manectric kind of bucks that trend. It does have Hidden Power Ice, which is nice. It being the Natdex, Hidden Power is back, and Hidden Power Ice is extremely important for ground types or flying types that are immune, such as Thundurus, Landorus, Gliscor, all those kind of things. Hidden Power Ice hits pretty nicely. We have T-Bolt as just a reliable bit of stab. It's not as strong as things like Rising Voltage or Thunder, but it's a lot more reliable. If you really want to fish for paralysis, you can run Discharge instead. I'm running Thunderbolt for that small bit of power, but sometimes you want that power chance instead. Flamethrower is very good for Steel types and Grass types. Now, Grass types honestly give this team a surprising amount of trouble, so Flamethrower is pretty good for that. And finally we have Volt Switch to try and spread Intimidates, take it in, Intimidate, Volt Switch out into another offensive threat. So this team has plenty of pivot options, which we'll see soon, which I really enjoy. Next up we have a bulky Spadef Zapdos. This is kind of to go with my somewhat Fizz-Def Iron Hands. So Spadef Zapdos is pretty important for surviving some important attacks. However, unfortunately they did nerf Roost this generation, which kind of sucks. So it only has 8 PP instead of its usual 16, so it cannot Roost as much as I would like it to, but it's still good for longevity. We have heavy duty boots as well because it is going to be my defogger, and it's otherwise weak to rocks, which makes its longevity pretty poor. And finally, static for making contact, which is super nice to try and spread paralysis. Other moveset wise, we have Toxic to try and whittle down kind of scary opponents that might want to set up in my face, or maybe that Hurricane cannot OHKO. Toxic is pretty good, and they can kind of Volt Switch or U-turn around into immunities if I have to. And finally we have Hurricane, again for those grass types in the tier, especially Mega Venusaur. Mega Venusaur is like crazy bulky, so it's important to have some answer. Next up we have Circuitry, which is pretty much going to be my main kind of speed control. It's going to be a max speed, max special attack, timid nature. Now 291 speed is not very good, however it is further boosted by Choice Scarf, which makes it a pretty decent snowball in Pokemon, especially in the end game. Its special attack is disgustingly high and gets boosted every time we get a KO thanks to Beast Boost, so this thing can really snowball into becoming a powerful late game threat. Moveset wise, we have Volt Switch. Again, I just like to Volt Switch around a lot, try and whittle my opponents down into range of important targets such as Iron Hands, Rotom Wash, or Circuitry itself. Rising Voltage, it's kind of a weird one, like it trades reliability for stupid levels of power. So this doubles in power when electric terrain, so it becomes 140 base, then it's boosted by Stab, and then it's boosted by electric terrain on top of that. So Rising Voltage from a Circuitry pretty much OHKOs any non-resist or any non-immunity in the game, just instantly. It's just so strong. Now the stipulation is I have to have my electric terrain up, which is only up for 5 turns, so it is difficult to put Circuitry in that position and not go straight into Iron Hands. But when it pays off, it really pays off. Next up we have Energy Ball, again for ground types and even water types. Water can be a surprisingly hard matchup with things like Mega Swampert running around, so Energy Ball OHKOs that and allows me to sweep. Similarly with Dazzling Gleam, but this is for the dragon types in the tier. It is super good to tear through a lot of dragon types. Also pretty nice for Dark and the fighting matchup, which you'll see a decent amount because they're quite strong types in the Natdex. So Circuitry, very fun Pokemon. Really looking forward to using this. Finally, we have Rotom Wash. It's kind of a unique Rotom Wash. Not like the most unique Rotom Wash in the world, but it has its niche. It's going to be a max special attack, slightly bulky Specs Rotom Wash. So I really like Specs Rotom Wash. It kind of takes people off guard. They don't necessarily expect it to come in. They maybe expect Scarf or like a Wisp or something, so they try and swap in something that can tank it, and instead take a Specs Hydro Pump, or maybe even get tricked my Choice Specs, which really hinders them later in the game. We also have Hidden Power Grass, which is nice to catch off ground types, especially if they want to try and swap in, namely Quagsire, Gastrodon, Swampert, anything that can easily eat Hydro Pump or Volt Switch. Hidden Power Grass will catch those off guard and absolutely obliterate them. And finally, you're probably sick of me saying this, and I'm practically blue in the face from saying it, Volt Switch again, very nice, reliable pivoting options to go into Pokemon that I want to try and position myself in to win. So a lot of pivoting options in this team, which is good because it's all about trying to position into the victory, especially Iron Hands or Circuitry. These are probably my 2 biggest win conditions, and the rest of the team is kind of to support those getting the sweep. So with that out of the way, I want to ask you, who is your favorite new addition to Generation 9 Electric Pokemon? Mine's easily Iron Hands. It's not even a competition. I always liked its design. It's probably my favorite Paradox Pokemon, and then I used it and realized, okay, this thing is like super fun as well, so absolutely my favorite. With that out of the way, let's pause and look for some games. So our first game is against Monobug. Now, I definitely have to worry about Sticky Web here on Rabombi. That can be pretty annoying for me. Now, I can't defog it away. I think either way, I open up a Rotom and Volt Switch out turn 1, as they open up with Buzzwole. That's okay, because a Specs Volt Switch is going to hurt this thing like crazy. That did pretty good damage. And I guess we go to Zapdos. I do outspeed, because my Zapdos is the same speed. Excellent. My Zapdos is faster than my Rotom, and Rotom was faster than this, therefore Hurricane should pretty much do a good chunk of damage to anything that comes in. In theory, Vikavolt can eat it, but I'm not too worried about that. I can Toxic it afterwards, or even Heat Wave if I need to. Oh, I don't have Heat Wave, my bad. That's okay. I guess Fortress is probably the biggest concern, but I don't think they're going to go into Fortress expecting me to maybe have Heat Wave. So with that in mind, hopefully Araquanid. Thankfully I miss. That's kind of unfortunate. Not to worry, I do get the Static Para, and I'm just going to keep Hurricane here. I like the name, the Senator. I'm assuming that's Metal Gear Rising reference. I'm not too worried about Rabombi. I guess it could, like, Quiver Dance in my face a bunch, and that would suck for me. So with that in mind, let's Toxic it once. If I can at least put this thing on a timer, it's pretty good. I kind of want to Roost, but I also feel I should Hurricane. Ah, that crit might have mattered. Oh. Okay, I really didn't think Hurricane would kill when it was +1. Do I care about webs coming down? No, because Iron Hands is slow as anything anyway. So I guess I'll just get first impression here. Oh, is that Sucker Punch? Interesting. That's pretty good for me, because I'm actually going to Toxic here. And pretty much spam Roost, and hopefully try and force out their Fortress as they end up forfeiting. So definitely will take that. It's definitely a hard matchup for Bug, actually, as Electric. I'm not even running Regieleki. I find Regieleki a little bit overrated. I mean, it absolutely smashes some matchups and absolutely does dire in others. So for that reason, I didn't really fancy running it. But with that, let's look for another game. So our next game is against Mono Flying. In theory, this is a very easy winnable matchup. In practice, it can be a little difficult. If I let things like Gliscor, Lando, or Thundurus get the better of me. They even have Dragonite. This team is really, really equipped to take care of Mono Electric, which is interesting to see. With that in mind, I don't think they really like anything getting tricked, so I might just try and trick turn 1. Part of me really wants to Volt Switch on the Dragonite because they might expect a pump, but I think Trick is a good neutral play here. If I do give Specs to Dragonite, it's much worse. If I give Specs to pretty much anything, actually, it's much worse. Perfect. That's just what I want to see. And we're going to Volt Switch here. Now, since they're Dragon Clawing, I do get in my Tapu Koko for absolute free, and I'm going to set up a single Reflect. I'm not too worried about this because I can always U-turn here into my Rotom or even into my Manectric if I really want to Hidden Power Ice. I have Ice Punch on Iron Hands too. Does Ice Punch kill? I know Gliscor is like pretty bulky. If it's no bulk, it kills, but what are the chances of it being no bulk? Kind of unlikely. And how much does Earthquake do to me? It's definitely not going to kill, but 2 might. Let's assume the worst and say it's 252 Adamant. Earthquake behind Reflect. This thing is so bulky. It does not 2-hit KO. That is insane. So yeah, I think I want to U-turn here into my Iron Hands. Now they might even go for a knockoff here, expecting my Rotom to come back in. Oh, they sub. That is bad. So I just gotta Ice Punch this a bunch. This is nasty for me, actually. Because they can always just infinitely sub on me, right? I guess if they do, I get in my Manectric afterwards and click Hidden Power Ice. This is nasty. Truly a heinous Gliscor right here. My Hidden Power Ice kills, right? It does not kill if it's bulky, which it definitely is because it's sub-protect. I think I'm going to go into Coco and taunt it once. Taunt pretty much shuts this thing down. Hopefully they don't quake here. They quaked. It's kind of annoying. This is looking really, really, really bad for me. I U-turn. Because I have to Earthquake here. And if I go into my Rotom, I do get a free Hydro Pump. Now they're definitely not going to give that to me, are they? Yeah, I figured they'd go Dragonite here. You know what? I stay in. I don't think they can Oko me. Of course they can if they crit. That's really bad. That is really, really bad for me. Actually, at -1, Gliscor might not kill me. But losing that really sucks. This has got to be Scarf, right? Otherwise they don't take it in against me. Unless they're bluffing. And that was a really good bluff if so. We'll Hurricane once here. Not good, not good, not good. Especially after Agility. Now I can probably actually out-roost this thing. If I'm being honest, I'm just going to roost a bunch unless it's Nasty Plot. Of course, I willed that into being. I'll roost once more. Gigavolt Havoc kills. Yeah, absolutely demolishes me. And my Coco is too low. It's getting to the point where maybe, just maybe, my Xurkitree can do some work. I'll double into Coco here, just to get some Toxic Chip. I mean, I could have gone straight into Coco and did the exact same thing. Does Xurkitree live? It might just live one. No, because Gleam... Charizard's going to live Gleam. Easy. Honestly, I think so does Gliscor. And even Lando. So unless somehow I outspeed their entire team, which is unlikely. Yeah, easily lives. All I can do is spam HP Ice here. And it's not going to be enough. I think it's a bulky Gliscor. Huh? Oh, it was like Adamant Scarf. GG. That was a really cool team. Definitely very well prepared for Mono Electric. A very hard team to break. That Gliscor really messed me up. I did not expect Subtoxic. I thought maybe Knockoff. But with that, let's pause and look for another game. So here we have a game against Mono Steel. This can be a very winnable matchup for Electric. Iron Hands goes kind of crazy here. Honestly, so does Xurkitree because they're not running any Excadrill. We're going to open up with Rotom. Just because I'm kind of scared what they're going to open up with. And we're going to trick this in case it's that annoying Subtoxic build. Which I so despise. That did so much. I mean, I did trick it at Choice Scarf, so that's why it did so much. And I guess I'm okay with Rotom going down here. It looks like in theory it didn't do much, but it actually did so much for me there. And here we can click Rising Voltage for free. It does pretty good damage to most things. This is going to live. I guess I don't need Xurkitree. I think Iron Hands wins the game here. And I don't think Earth Power even KOs. I was wrong. I was very wrong. You can tell it's been a while since I played. I'm like super rusty. But I think I get a free Volt Switch here. And most importantly, I actually Mega Evolve to get my Intimidate out on... It lived. I did not think that would live. Super annoying. Because we are a Defog here. They're going to Magma Storm. I take a decent chunk, but I just Hurricane here. Not ideal, but okay. King Gambit's kind of a threat, but once I get in my Iron Hands, I'm not too worried. I kind of want to go into Manectric. Or Coco. Let's go Coco. I should live an Iron Head. I definitely live a Kowtow Cleave. And we're going to get my Reflect up here. And my Light Screen as well for Goldengo. Nice. That's fine. I will get in my Iron Hands. I'm going to click Thunder Punch. I believe it does kill. and it catches things like Corvi and Goldingo out, which is super good. I have plenty of turns on my screens left. I have 4 on Reflect and 5 on Light Screen. I'm pretty sure Iron Hands just goes kind of crazy here. Let me SD once in your face. Dual Wing Beat to 0. Part of me wants to Drain Punch, but part of me thinks Thunder Punch is safer in case Goldingo comes in. And this isn't doing much damage. Ah, Para, nice. We're going to Drain Punch here, get a small bit of HP back. I think it's going to put me at least enough to live Goldingo. I think I should live this. With screens, it's not even stab. Yeah, easy. Now, can King Gambit kill? Probably. It's super beefed up. Nope, it does not even kill. And with that, we claim victory. All thanks to Iron Hands being absolutely ridiculous. Like, this thing just doesn't die. Behind screens, it has 511 HP. And I suppose essentially 500 defense and over 300 speed F. With reliable recovery and Drain Punch. Like, this thing is just so good. Probably my favorite Generation 9 Pokemon to use. So with that, let's look for another game. Here we have some Mono Dark, and this is looking honestly really threatening. I really hate screens in this game, but I also really like Iron Hands. I'm half tempted to open up with Iron Hands. Actually, I'm going to open up Rotom and maybe try and trick something turn 1 as... Yeah, I'm going to trick, just in case they want to go in Ting Lu here. I mean, I feel like they shouldn't waste their Ting Lu this early, but tricking it is really good for me. I guess I don't love Greninja. Okay. I'm okay with this getting tricked. Because now they have to choose between their Light Screen or Reflect, ideally. And they want Light Screen against things like Circuitry, but they really want Reflect against Iron Hands, so that's kind of best case scenario for me, all things considered. Okay, they go for their Light Screen. I feel like I get in Coco. And then U-turn on the switch. Or do I get in Coco and Reflect? And if they go Ting Lu, I taunt and then U-turn. They go Greninja. I'll Light Screen here, but I'm okay with the Gong Shot because I have my Reflect up. It still did a decent chunk. We're going to U-turn here. It doesn't KO, which is fantastic, and it lets me get in my Iron Hands. I'm going to Ice Punch just because it takes, it hits Ting Lu. I know Thunder Punch is stronger on Greninja and stronger in general, but I'm worried they're going to go in Ting Lu here, so I think the play is to Ice Punch. Pretty good damage. And I'm going to get 1 Swords Dance up, because they're going to Reflect here. Oh, they Parting Shot. I mean, that doesn't bother me too much. I get my Swords Dance, and I just click Draining Punch here. It does a fairly hefty chunk. Okay, not too worried about this. I'll go Zap. And we're going to try and Toxic and Defog. We're going to Defog first in case they Whirlwind here. Perfect. Eventually I knew I'd get in Coco. We'll taunt once. Okay. Good play on their part. Now they're forced into Earthquake, which means something on their team is eating a Toxic. Ting Lu is definitely the most annoying thing on their team. I think I Defog. That way, if they get a screen up, it just goes immediately. I'm kinda worried about Xian Pao. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, do I go into Rotom here? No, I think I Defog. Just in case they try to get a screen up. I was worried about Parting Shot. At least this does let me Toxic whatever comes in. If Greninja comes in, I think I Hurricane it. Okay. If this is like Swords Dance, it's very bad for me. That is very bad for me. I guess theoretically I can like play around its sucker punches and stuff. Okay. Interesting. I'll sack this. And then we take a Manectric. And we're going to intimidate this into, I think, Flamethrower. I know I'm like really down on Mons here. Come on, win this beat tight. Ah, unfortunate. Unfortunate. I'm gonna try go Zerk into Zapdos. If this plays out nicely for me on the sucker, they died to Toxic. Excellent. And that's a big threat taken care of. Grim comes back in. We're going to defog again. I don't think anything on their team can like one-hit KO me. Greninja comes in. We'll Hurricane once. Honestly, my Iron Hand's looking pretty good. I guess I sacked this. Yeah, I think I sacked this. And then I take in Xerkatry. I should live one, I think. And we'll click Gleam here. Don't freeze. Nice. Now they probably go into their Grimmsnarl. And they get up a Light Screen, then go into T-Tar. If they go into Grimmsnarl, I feel like the play is to go into Iron Hands. It's tough though, because if they decide to Parting Shot on Grimmsnarl, I should stay in. I think I need to keep this alive for Roaring Moon. Because Roaring Moon, in theory, could be very, very scary. Now, I think Drain Punch actually might just give me the longevity I need to survive. We'll Gleam here. If they're DD, it's pretty bad for me. Ahahaha. 62 is actually so much damage. So I think they have to be Scarf Roaring Moon to win. I don't know. I Gleam here. Yeah, they Light Screen, that's fine. Tinglu lives one, I think. Though this is 1000 base attack, like its special attack is so strong. It lives one. But I think we actually outspeed with Iron Hands, just about. And the question is, do we live one attack from Roaring Moon? I think yes we do. It's like crazy bulky. And I think Drain Punch kills. Well, we're about to find out. It's all down to this. Yeah, nice. GG. It was Life Orb too. That didn't do much, all things considered, and I got a huge amount back. In fact, I probably just got enough back for me to survive another hit afterwards, which is kind of fantastic. So with that, let's pause and be right back. I'll throw again. That's so funny. So we have a game here against Mono Poison. This is one of those games that can go kind of either way. I do think Venusaur is going to be pretty hard to break. Honestly, so is Slowking. I kind of want to open Coco, but I'm kind of worried they open with their Glamora. Let's open Rotom. Part of me wants to trick just turn one. Just trick away immediately. Because if I get rid of this thing's Vest, it does make it much more manageable. And we can Volt Switch around here for free. Which is pretty nice for me. I like Xerkatry a lot. I like Iron Hands once Wheezing is gone. I actually really like Iron Hands. Ooh, okay. We need Hurricane. That's kind of the entire reason I have Hurricane. Is for things like Venusaur. Otherwise it's very hard for me to break. The feature side comes out here. Does a decent chunk. And we can get in my Coco. Ah, they Sludge Bomb. That's really bad for me. You know what? Not to worry. Because right now, Rising Voltage does a good chunk, even against things like, wow, okay. I didn't think it would, like, KO do good. I thought it might do, like, 60, but I suppose it's not Vest anymore, so that's why. Venusaur lives. You don't live. It protects, I imagine, to stall a turn out on the electric terrain. But now they either give me an extra boost or they swap out. Lovely. We'll take that. Now, of course, Rising Vulture is going to be a lot weaker soon. But that doesn't matter too much once I'm +3. And I hit like over 1,000 special attack. I'm not too worried. It could be Vest Muck. It's Vest Muck, right? To take that little. I feel like it's Vest Muck. We got Electric here. And we're going to get... I'm gonna Volt Switch. Yeah, Intimidate into Volt Switch. To try and Hurricane Venusaur here. Because besides Zapdos, Venusaur walls out my team like crazy. Nice. Confusion's pretty good there, because I'm kind of scared of Pursuit trapping, to be honest. Jab Poison isn't ideal. We will Flamethrower here, just in case they go back into their Venusaur. Cool, T-Bolt kills here. Or I don't need it to. We're taking Circuitry. I think I Volt Switch. On potentially Venusaur coming in. The end game is honestly a little bit tricky. Just because I'm like super scared of Muck. I always go Rotom here. Please don't Pursue, great. I kind of want to trick this and just take its Vest off it. I don't mind so much if I die. I always Volt Switch here. Back into Circuitry. I think I kind of just Volt Switch around forever. Until I get in my Zapdos. And hope this hits. Nice. Pretty good. All I needed to do is hit Hurricane once. And then... I think, honestly, Iron Hands probably won the end game anyway. If it was Earth Power, maybe not. But I don't think it was Earth Power. So with that, let's pause and look for another one. Here we are, the Electric Ditto against Mr. ... They are actually higher than me on the ladder. So their team, I expect, is going to be pretty good. I'm kind of worried about it. I'm going to go into my Circuitry immediately. I'll Gleam. That did a lot of damage, actually. That's banded, right? I think it has to be banded to kill. Because that did a lot. They go into their own Circuitry. Of course I miss. I imagine this is going to be like Z Hypnosis or something. I'm just kind of getting that vibe off this team. Let me get my screens up here. You know what, let's get one screen and then go into my own Iron Hands. Yeah. There's the Tail Glow I expected. I'll Drain Punch once. That does so much. I'm kind of like really scared of Raichu here. Like really, really scared of Raichu. But we live. This thing is so bulky, it's ridiculous. Why is it so bulky? I think my Electric into Volt Switch, right? Actually, no, we have no reason to Volt Switch here. I think we just Flamethrower. I guess Volt Switch would have been kind of nice here. Now the question is, do I bother keeping my Iron Hands alive? I love my screens in this game. I do think they make or break my team. Now, of course, their Raichu is really scary. The fact that it left it at 4% is not ideal for me. It would have been fantastic to knock it out. I guess they could get webs down too. Now, I don't care that much about webs. I could defog them away if I really wanted to. But all it does is make my Coco slower than their Coco. I think that's like literally the only thing it does. I imagine they Volt Switch into... Oh, they Wild Charge, interesting. Huh. That's a Volt Switch here. Their Iron Hands comes in. It does take a hefty chunk, actually. So we're gonna go for Pump. I really, really need this to hit. Nice. Nice. I think this does. Specs Pump is very strong. We just need to hit one more. And I think... Well, we need to hit one more or hit Hurricane. And I think Zapdos wins the game then. If they like Nasty Plot, it's over for me. If they Nasty Plot and I miss, it's over for me. I think it literally comes down to if Zapdos can hit. No, I defog, right? I always defog, because then I can go into Magnetric and outspeed. Now, if I was Massive Brain, if I had like a humongous brain, I'd go into Iron Hands on the Z move. Okay, great. We win. That was honestly... Yeah, Specs well done. That was a very close game. And a very good game. Whew, stressful. And it puts me just above 1552. That's pretty good, I think. Where does that land on? 1552. Number 42. Top 50. With electric. Pretty nice. I think we're going to leave it at that. So, let's pause right there. So we finished here at number 39 on the ladder. 1553 is pretty good. Maybe I could go higher. I'd like to try and get like top 10 with this, but either way, very happy with this. Extremely fun type. I liked playing it in this video just as much as I did when I originally laddered it, which I'm pretty happy with. Overall, let me know, of course, what your thoughts on the electric type are. For me, it's probably a top 5 type. Design-wise and to play, I've always really enjoyed electric. I think it has some really cool mons. I do think it suffers a bit from stab syndrome, which I said much earlier on in the video, in the fact that it really only has a lot of electric moves and sometimes struggles to have coverage. But when you can work around that, I think it's a fantastic type. So with that out of the way, let me know in the comments what type you want to see me play next. I will try to get around to it for next video, and I hope to catch you next time, everyone. Take care and have a good day.